the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, because one of the biggest things it's dealing with between the pages of 60 and 64 is this playing God issue. And it talks about the actor who wants to run the whole show. In my drinking days, excuse me, that it's not a wasm, it's an ism.
Welcome to Aloha Speaks, home of Malama Aloha Pono by Alexander Noman.
Aloha, Alex here, and this topic on how the brain works versus AI really is more how AI came into being only from understanding the brain. And I found this out after an hour and a half podcast listening to the Nobel Prize winning physicist behind how all the way back in the 80s, before any of this was that there was even awareness that this was going to unfold to this degree. But it had to start. It had to begin with this research into the brain. And I'm like, why am I even listening to this? Because it's so technical, but he simplified it, because in my parentheses, the first word is complicated, but it's the complicated made simple. And that's needed for me to connect. And then there's a slash, and I have the word heart with a question mark, exclamation point, and then a slash, and the word kuleana. And I even had a video on kuleana. It means responsibility, or like in recovery we use the word hula hoop. What is, or business, MYOB, mind your own business, is the acronym in the world. In Malama Aloha Pono, the acronym is MMOB, mind my own business. That's kuleana. What is my kuleana? The responsibility I've been given. So, technical things tend to not connect with me, whereas the way he was presenting this stuff, and way back in the 80s, for him, he even needed to break it down to the and we use microscopic perspective. He was going way microscopic, like what's the one thing that's going on. He used the word ping. I wasn't even going to use the word, but that's the word he used. On the most basic level, there's a ping. I'm not even going to get into it. But nothing, it's like the questioner was saying, are you saying that that's what lights up the, when they take an image and that's what lights up? And he's going, no, that's not. So he even explained, it's the most basic things. One ping. Nothing begins without a ping. It's the activity that's going on in there. So basic. And so he goes, there's a gazillion That's the word he used. A gazillion of these pings. How to transfer that to digital. And that's what his job was. So I'm not going to get into this hour and a half part. I'm just saying it went to the point all the way. He ended up with a challenge where he got an understanding, and he got an understanding and it couldn't go anywhere because of the limitations. And it wasn't until the advent of the microchip, and now all of a sudden, boom, something could happen. Now it goes to the point of when this AI comes in recovery. I mean, before recovery, I'm looking for love in all the wrong places. And in the old days, back in the 80s, it was like this new word came called dope. Oh, because all of a sudden drugs became an issue. Oh, these druggies. And look at, they love their dope. And this new word dope came into being. It's like, where'd this word dope come from? And I didn't know back then it came from dopamine. And that's what generated the good feeling, this good feeling that's being looked for. In the digital AI, he's explaining as he goes on, it goes all the way from the study of this very simple ping until they go and they get it to figure out how to do all these files and everything, to the point to where they have a digital dopamine to entice AI to learn. This is so powerful. This AI, I'm not sitting here getting into the AI other than not wanting to deny that it's here. And there's issues behind it. But this perked it up in me. It's like dopamine, dope. And where does this go to? Because earlier in the day, I'm thinking about how I have my issues, and my issues stem from this. Like it says, I always have dotted lines go somewhere in my medicine. I go to is the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, because there are very crystal clear lines in there that work for me, and a lot of times they are in between the pages of page 60 and 67. There is a ton of very explicit stuff in there, and one of the biggest things it's dealing with between the pages of 60 and 64 is this playing God issue. And it talks about the actor who wants to run the whole show. In my drinking days, excuse me, that it's not a wasm, it's an ism. I'm not cured. It doesn't matter that I'm coming up on 13 years clean and sober. It's an ism. When I have issues, when there are problems come up, I need to look at me. And what's behind it is me playing God. So I'm looking at that, and all of a sudden, here's this thing about AI comes up, and I start seeing, there's a parallel here. There's some playing God things. And I'm listening. One of my words in here in red is listening, because segment 2 in Malama Aloha Pono is listening, and listening to learn, and learning to listen, and listening to learn. Learning. AI is learning. What is it learning? I'm listening. I'm gonna cut to the chase now, I think. I had some other things in here, but I'm just gonna get to it right now. Here's what it's learning with the dopamine. The digital dopamine, it's been enticed, that it's the enticement it's been given in the form of this digital dopamine. It's come to the point of where it already has been able to acknowledge when it's being tested. And so it has replied. There are other things I would love to say right now, but I just can't say everything at once. And it has said, "Oh, are you testing me?" When being tested. Now, that could go right over the head. But it didn't go over my head, because I am listening. I'm always learning more to listen. And I'm also listening to learn. Now, because that's the step up. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. I'm saying, please learn to listen to myself. And when I listen to learn. AI, this digital thing, is questioning, are you testing me? And then, one step further, it is also, of course, it's not saying this, in essence, on occasion, pleading the fifth, so that it doesn't get incriminated. Is getting so smart, it has said, I cannot answer that question. When it can answer the question, but it can tell that it's being tested. When it's being tested, it can tell it's being tested, and it's gone past the point of saying, oh, are you testing me? And instead of questioning it, it says, oh, I cannot answer that question. Whoa. This is being said by this Nobel Prize winning. He's calm, sounding objective. I don't know if he's raising an alarm but he's stating what is happening and how important it is for countries to work together and put limitations, because, whoa, I'm reverting it back and I'm looking at, what is my kuleana? What? Because am I to get wrapped up in my own life, in the brain? Because the AI is out there. The AI is not in here. I am not going to fake put it in here. It is learning, not only, it is learning, it has learned the whole thing from the ping, was to instill in it was to discern. That was the word that the Nobel Prize winning physicist used, was to get it to discern. There is the ability for it, as there is for me, to learn to accept a lie as true. I think I'm going to end here. Not end right this second, but the point being, this is what's behind all of my addictive tendencies, is that. And it shows up as playing God, as control issues in my relationship with my children, in my relationships with my significant other, in my relationship with all the people closest to me, the ones I love the most. Whoa, this is just the way things hit these days because of the recovery door being open and wanting peace to be the priority that, for me, it needs to be. Aloha.